Hello everyone. As much as I love saying happy Friday, I'm not down with putting on a whole front and acting like we aren't living through some chaotic and traumatic times. We started off the year joking about having to strap up for war, and here we are living through a war zone in our own communities. I didn't make any video on Wednesday because I had to take some time to process and analyze the events that have taken place after the death of George Floyd on May 25th. I found that what happened was a mix of people of color and white allies coming together, finally reaching our limit to the amount of injustice we can take. And as proud as I am of my people's ability to show out and be on the front lines and stare danger in the face, there are people in our own communities that are using this movement as an excuse to destroy immigrant-built businesses. Imagine that. Imagine instead of fighting the predator who has never ever supported your community, the predator who hoards their resources, greedy corporations who can easily replace what is destroyed, you destroy the community that has had to build themselves from the ground up. Immigrants that know just as well what it feels like to have nothing, who fight the same fight as us. Mom and pop shops that were working as hard as they could during a pandemic to serve their community with already limited resources, only to be faced with a greater setback caused by the audacity and greed of their own people. What these people don't understand is that these immigrants who came to America for a new life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness had to work twice as hard to get half of the highly coveted American dream. Because on top of the technical liability of being an entrepreneur or a business owner, people of color are weighed down constantly with implicit biases, the yoke of white supremacy, and the trauma of our ancestors. The uproar after the death of George Floyd was not unexpected. This is the pain of 400 years cascading out from behind this white veil that has been preventing decades of healing. Prevented the uplifting of our Black and brown communities, our own brothers and sisters. We are finally being able to open our eyes to the danger that is the white supremacy that forms our society. Too often do we forget the true history of our country and how it was built on the backs of the slaves and the indigenous people. And how can we blame ourselves for forgetting? Where are our textbooks? What did we learn, New York City public school system? Where in our curriculum does it have this information? How are we supposed to remember all of the triumphs of our ancestors when we're too busy celebrating Christopher Columbus finding America and the history of Thanksgiving? Only bringing up issues of racism and police brutality when covering Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement, when it's an active issue that we faced every single day. Every day, Black and brown people are dying. There were only 27 days in 2019 where police didn't kill someone. That means that the greater threat here is that our law enforcement is spending 86% of the year killing people, and the larger percentage of these officers are shooting 3 or more people a day. Is it not enough that Black Americans are 2.5% more likely to be killed by police officers than white Americans? How does this lack the historical context needed to qualify being written into our history textbooks? The institution of slavery and the control of minorities were one of the 2 most formidable historic features of American society shaping early policing. Slave patrols and night watches later became modern police departments that were designated to control the behaviors of minorities. If the United States is capable of doing things like creating a slavery loophole via the 13th Amendment, profiting and funneling Black and brown people into the correction system, stripping them of their citizenship, how are we supposed to believe that there are anything better than rebranding slave patrols, even going as far as to water them with all of these resources? Yeah, I'll give you a minute to absorb that one. So yes, I feel your pain and your anger, and if you're out there feeling this heaviness, know you're not alone. This takes time to process what's truly going on. I think the hardest thing for me when this all started was a mix of wanting to be updated on everything that was happening, but then being afraid of the heaviness that was going to come with it all. But the time for being silent about the discrepancies in our history was then. We're living in now. Today is the day to arm yourself with an updated mindset. This mindset being that we're not hopeless. There are other ways to help the movement via these 8 action items. The first of which being making sure that you're registered to vote. I'm just going to say this straight up. If you're 18 years of age or older, which you should be if you're watching this channel, and you want to move forward and rewrite years of injustice and bigotry, you need to be registered to vote. We have the internet. Know your local government. The presidency isn't the only political office that has impact. Educate yourself and vote accordingly. The changes start here, in our own communities. Little girls should be given the tools to dream about being an assembly member as often as we promote them to be president someday. If you've never been able to uplift a district of people, how are you expected to uplift the country? We obviously know now the consequence of having someone with no human experience in the White House. Nonetheless, I believe in our power to truly mobilize to change the world. The fact that this is the first time in history all 50 states have protested, as well as the United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, Iran, and New Zealand, this has become a global movement. Now we know we aren't alone in this injustice. Thanks to social media, now there are eyes and ears everywhere. Even now, I have your attention. Messages can travel faster than ever before because knowledge is power. What we're going through right now will not be in vain. There's no way we're going to let the year 2020 slip on the future history curriculum. Future generations will learn about the people of this world who got tired of the injustice and the bloodshed caused by the very people who are supposed to serve and protect us. But until then, we can make a collective difference, I promise you. Please refer to all of the links and the resources about where you can donate, petitions to sign, and organizations to follow on social media in the description, as well as a Google Doc containing a national resource list. If you have any resources that I missed, please put them in the comments. We can do this together. This is one of those videos that the best thing you can do is share, because who knows who this can reach. And always remember that during times like these, we need to turn to love. Love and take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for listening to me today. Stay safe. Love you.